Hey there, and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at Mission for the Survival of Universe 6 Hit, and basically just how good he is in DBZ Dokkan. And yeah, I think overall, look, he's a free-to-play unit, so expectations should be tempered a little bit, but I think overall he's pretty interesting. I think a lot of the Universe 6 EZAs are pretty interesting, so I think, yeah, ultimately it could be... Yeah, I mean, he's good. He definitely has usability. So in terms of his, everything, he is a physical type lead of key plus 3 HP attack and defense of 50%, raises defense for 1 turn with a medium chance of stunning on his super. He has attack and defense of 166% with changing into key spheres to rainbow, and launches an additional attack that has a 66% chance of recovering a super attack within the same turn with a rainbow key sphere obtained. He has a high chance of evasion, an additional attack and defense of 166%, and a chance of evading the enemy's attack plus 16% when key is 12. He gets an additional attack and defense of 66% within the same turn with each attack performed, and he gets an additional chance of evasion of plus 6% within the same turn with each attack performed as well. He will counter with enormous power after evading an attack, and has a medium chance of stunning the attacked enemy. Now, how it works basically is he has a 50% evasion chance. When he gets his 12 key, that becomes 66%. Then, on top of that, should he be able to fire off a super attack, it'll become 72, 78, etc., etc. Because passive evasion is cumulative, so it all adds together. However, when you are relying on his hidden potential system, that will occur separately. So should his first attempt to dodge to fail, if you give him a ton of evasion, it will proc another chance for him to potentially evade. I think overall, in terms of build, I showed you there, but mine is majority crit. And yeah, a little bit of evasion I think is fine. He does obviously have additional attacks built in to his hidden potential system, which is fine. But I think for me overall, like when I consider how he works, I think he wants a little bit of crit. Counters can actually do a lot of decent damage with crit. I know it sounds incredibly simple to just state that, but they can do some decent damage. I think he's just one of those units where there's not really an incorrect build. Like I think, yeah, there's not really a huge incorrect build that you can make for him. But I think overall, if you're looking to make him the best defensive unit, you probably want to just keep giving him evasion. That way he can start to hopefully potentially evade and really ramp up his evasion mechanism. And start to just have a great presence on the field. However, of course, if you don't want to do that, you want to make him a little bit more offensively minded, then you're going to have to look at critting. The reason you're going to have to look at that is because, yeah, quite frankly, crits are going to be incredibly important for his counters to do damage, for him to do any damage. It's just one of those things that you kind of have to consider doing. But yeah, essentially evasion, pretty big mechanism for him. I think that's something that's not a shock. If you build him into evasion, you're probably going to have a much better time trying to run him, just due to the fact that at the end of the day, even if it doesn't proc from his passive, getting that secondary proc on evasion, which could kick in when his passive fails, means that you are still going to be building up that evasion stacks. Just makes him a better, stronger unit overall. Whenever you have scaling evasion like this, giving them evasion just makes them really crazy. I think when you see, like with Videl, Strength Videl is another free-to-play unit that is also an incredibly strong unit, and I think for me definitely is one of those units that hey, can be incredibly good. So it's just going to depend a lot, I think, on how you want to utilize this variation of hit. For me, he's a good unit. I think he's a good unit that does a really solid job. But I do think, functionally, there are still limitations to him, of course, mainly because of his lower stats. But I think he's a surprising unit, much like Videl, who I think is actually a really, really good free-to-play unit. I think Hit is also a really good free-to-play unit, and that you can use them as pseudo-tanks should all else fail. In inverted commas. You don't have to use them, of course, but I think if you do use them, for the most part, you'll have a good time. because if they're RNG procs, then they can actually be incredibly surprising, incredibly good units that do a fantastic job. So I'm really, really impressed by them. Of course, I think that concept of Hit is really good. I think could make him a very interesting option as a surprise pseudo tank for some players who are maybe short on options for certain categories. Link-wise, that's kind of where things are a bit rough. Cold Judgment, Woman of Power, Warriors of Universe 6, Shocking Speed, Shine the Limit, Infighter, Experienced Fighters is an okay link set, but he predominantly links up well with Jiren, with other Hit units. Of course, Hit doesn't have any change in names, so that's always a problem. He links up okay with some combo Universe Survival Saga cards. He links up okay with certain random Universal Survival Saga cards like Dispo and PHY and things like that. But yeah, I'd say realistically, to be honest with you, probably not anything major. I think, ultimately you probably find that links aren't that big a deal to him. I don't think so outside of Code Judgment. So you don't need to prioritize anything too much. I think for the most part, you'll have a decent time, no matter what you prioritize. If you get Code Judgment, it's a bonus. And obviously then you can have a bit of fun with them. But yeah, I would say overall, decent unit. Good free-to-play unit, good free-to-play option. But yeah, bye.